My name is Penelope Talbot-Kelly. Tonight we delve into finding the answer to work-life balance, a topic that many entrepreneurs face and struggle with every day. Sitting to my right is my special correspondent, Kara James, who is here to tell you more about this week's feature.
Thank you, Penelope. Any budding entrepreneur lives and breathes their business, but what if it becomes too much? What point does it hinder their ability to live their normal life? Over the past few weeks, we've been able to pick the brain of the successful restaurateur, Jonathan Talbot-Kelly. Jonathan had been the sole supporter of his family since he and his wife Victoria had started having children. Shortly after their second child, Quentin, was born, the Talbot-Kellys moved from Toronto to Ottawa in 1989. There, Jonathan and Victoria had 2 more children. Jonathan had been the owner and general manager of 2 Cultures located in the downtown business district of Ottawa. Cultures was one of the first concepts to provide healthy breakfast and lunch fast food. It was at the prime during the 90s. After running the 2 restaurants successfully for 5 years, Jonathan soon grew restless. Not unlike other entrepreneurs, he wanted the next challenge. Here's an up-close and personal video with Jonathan himself. We had the pleasure of meeting with him a few weekends ago and got to the roots of our Entrepreneur of the Week.
Why did you enter the hospitality and food industry?
It wasn't a deliberate plan to enter the industry. It was more by default. After high school, I wanted to get out and work, and I had enough of school. And I wanted to work, and I ended up going out west to Alberta, and I worked in a hotel with a friend. And that was how I got into the industry, as a bus person.
Opus Bistro soon came into existence. Why did you decide to open a bistro?
I had 2 other businesses at the time, and I felt that, for lack of a better word, I was getting bored with the other businesses. They were fairly routine and things were going well, and I needed another challenge. So one thing led to another, and I ended up buying a bistro. And a bistro that was had a good reputation at the time, and I saw myself taking over this bistro and setting it up, structured it so that it would run itself and that I could back off and have someone else run it. However, that was a bit foolish. The reality was the bistro required hands-on management every day, and the patrons that came to the bistro expected me to be on the floor every night. And to be honest with you, I really enjoyed being on the floor because I loved it, because it was every day was so different. You never knew you were going to fill if it was going to be a slow night. And working with a daily menu was a lot of ifs, but it's like standing on the ledge. That's how I see it. It's like standing on a ledge every day, and you just don't know what's going to happen, and it just gets your heart pounding, but it's a real thrill.
From here, Jonathan operated Opus Bistro for 2 years while trying to balance a large family. Penelope was growing bored in school, Quentin was 9 years old, William and Arthur 7 and 5 years respectively.
Jonathan's daily schedule was somewhat constraining as he had a strong presence in all of his businesses. He would typically get up around 5 a.m. and go for a run. This was essential to his mental sanity. He would then have breakfast with his children before they went to school, and he would head to either location of Cultures. He would work all day at the 2 restaurants, being crucial help to both, and then come home for dinner. He then would go to Opus Bistro and work the remainder of the evening and close the restaurant.
So what do you think he did?
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of options. I guess he could have quit.
Which job though?
You're right. Well, he has 3 obligations. Probably the bistro.
But he could always quit his daytime job.
That's true. I guess alternatively he could just hire more staff.
Do you think he has the money for that though?
I don't know. That, and he has a strong presence in all of his businesses.
Yeah, he is a crucial player. He could put more focus on a different part of the business.
Yeah, but I feel like that might be stretching himself thin again.
Very true. Well, I guess he could continue what he's doing and hope it all works out.
I feel like he's going towards a burnout if he continues stretching himself like this.
What do you think he does? Jonathan was in a groove. He had a routine and things were going smoothly. He was extremely busy all the time, only having Mondays off from the bistro. Victoria was looking after 4 children full-time, but Jonathan was supporting the family. They had moved into a new, larger house and had new, larger financial obligations. Tension was growing as Jonathan was finding his 3 jobs more and more challenging. 4 children were a handful, and Victoria and Jonathan did not see each other without the children.
So if Opus Bistro was so important to you, why couldn't you have worked less?
The business model of Opus Bistro was that not only is it a very sort of personal business, the kind of food we were serving, a high-end bistro fare, and which required me to be on the floor every night. The model itself, in this particular case, was 40 seats, and the math, if you did the math and you added up your revenues for the day versus your expenses, I needed to be on the floor every day. I just couldn't walk away from it. So that was a big learning for me. I felt that in order to be successful, that model, it needed to be 80 seats, and that would have allowed me to hire a manager to run it where I could step back. Now, having said that, mathematically it would have worked, but the reality is it still would have taken me out of the equation, so I'm not sure how much more successful I would have been.
Do you believe you were born or you learned to be an entrepreneur?
It's a good question. I think probably there are qualities that you were born with that are nurtured through your experience that allow them to come forth. I think that there were qualities in my experience that were always there, but they were driven through my experiences of life. And for me, I know that I always wanted to be a business person, and I always wanted to be involved in business in the sense that I wasn't controlling it. And because you get to the point where in all the qualities that you have, you just notice you can bundle them up and you can focus it on a business enterprise, but it's really that first step of saying I can do this, and everybody has it. It's just whether you allow it to bring it to the forefront. And for me, I really believe that the qualities that I had growing up in my family, we all had those qualities. It's just I decided to take it a step forward.
Well, that's our weekly feature of Entrepreneur of the Week. Until next time,
I'm Kara James.
and I'm Penelope Talbot Kelly. Have yourself a great evening.